Well, by now, most of you know that I am really into Marx and really enjoy it. And the first time I got to see a Marx 897, I was really impressed, and I kicked myself for not buying it. And here one is, and I bought this several years ago. Came with a wedge tender. And the real reason I bought the set is I wanted this man indoor boxcar, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. Gondola, and I always keep the key for the set in the gondola because it's a mechanical set, and then the typical 556 caboose. So back to this 897. I really like this locomotive, and it's basically an 898 with some added lithography. And what they've done is added a bunch of detail, piping, steam fittings, even a simulated bell, you can see it in the picture, is there. All of these little doors and valves, and it really makes it interesting. It adds a lot of detail. And another thing that's special about this 897 is it is clockwork, mechanical, as I said, but you can tell that it has a reversing motor, and you can tell by this little bend on the tab because you have to lift it up and down. It's not the standard Marx motor where you push it back and forth to lock it in or out. So if you were to pull it up, it goes backwards. If you were to push it down, it goes forwards. Now, it's pretty amazing that they were able to engineer a motor that goes both directions, even though it's mechanical. It's pretty impressive. I wish I could show you a little bit better how it works, but it's in there, and well, maybe I'll take the motor out. I'll tell you what, I'll take the motor out. Hang on just a moment. All right, I almost chickened out on taking the motor out to finagle this lever past this slot. Took a little bit of doing, but at least now you can see that there is 3 settings. There is a forward and a reverse. And just really genius how they came up with that. There's a little governor right there at the top, and then there's a bell. Now, I don't hear the bell, but let me put it back in here and we'll run it on the layout. Well, a couple more things before we go to the layout. I wanted to show you this. It did come with a wedge tender, and it's pre-war, and it's early enough that it has the ladder on the back. Anytime I'm looking for wedge tenders, I'm always looking for one that has a ladder in the back. And then back to this man indoor boxcar. I really like these. The door doesn't open, but it's permanently opened. There's this guy with some kind of a piece of freight in there. But notice that the other side looks like he's pushing the freight, and the doors open even wider. So these came with a blue top, and they also came with a red top. So the red one's a little harder to find. Great car. All right, back to the layout. All right, I've got the set back on the track. Caboose, gondola, reefer, wedge tender, and the 897. And I've got it wound up, and I think the lever is in the medium setting, and so if I push it down, it should go forward. large loop is about 70 feet, and it made it to the bridge. So one winding, I would say, was approximately 90 feet, 80 feet, somewhere in there. So not bad for a little 897. Let's give it one more try. Now the real trick is to not let it stop in the tunnel. Here we go again. There's one loop. In the tunnel. Oh, that wasn't good. Well, I've commissioned a 666 and a slope tender to push the train out of the tunnel. Let's see if I have success. Hopefully there's enough winding left to keep it going. Okay, I heard it connect. See if it comes out. Well, that was a success. There's the dirty old Rescue 666 next to the 897 for size comparison. One other thing I should have mentioned about these cars is that they feature the sliding tab and slot couplers. And the reason that those are there is for mechanical sets. What would happen is all the slack would be taken up at one car, and it would start one car at a time and gain some momentum. So these slide back and forth. Show you better on the back. Pushes it in, pulls it out. If that makes sense. All right, I wouldn't do this video justice if I didn't at least run the 897 in reverse. So here we are with the reverse on a full train. Here we go. Wow, that was fun. Kind of reminded me of back in grade school when you asked the teacher to run the film projector backwards. And sometimes they would, and that was great fun too. Well, don't ever underestimate the fun that you can have with a Clockwork locomotive, whether it be Marx, Bing, Dorfan, any of the others, American Flyer. It's always fun. So if the lights go out, you still have trains to run. Have fun with your Clockwork. Thanks for watching.